Chapter 602. With the jealous nature of their young master, if he really sent a bunch of people to take a photo with Madame, their lives would be in danger. Fortunately, these people were quite cooperative. They knew that Madame Boss was their company's treasure and many of them depended on her benefits. If he really scared someone and got chased out of the company, Baldy would never be able to save himself. That would be truly hopeless. Thinking of this, the people who were originally a little disappointed that they couldn't take a photo with Madame Boss decisively threw this matter to the back of their minds and started to flatter Madame Boss in the group. At first, everyone was more restrained, but this restraint didn't last long. When Su Yiyan appeared in front of the company building with a thermos, it completely disappeared. Beautiful receptionist. All departments, please take note. Madam is here, Madam is here, Madam is here. Important things must be repeated 3 times. Everyone take it seriously. Hua Chenhuan clicked into the company group to see if Yu Zian had notified everyone in place. The way she shouted, people who didn't know better would think that a bandit had come to rob their company. Lady at the front desk. Madam is wearing a light yellow dress today and is carrying a white thermos. She looks super cute. Hua Chenhuan. Why are you looking at my wife so carefully? Is the receptionist of their company so free? The receptionist, who had no idea that she had been targeted by the big boss, felt a chill down her spine and shivered. These 2 messages were like a drop of water in a pot of boiling oil. In an instant, everyone in the group began to enthusiastically urge the girl at the front desk to quickly report the situation up ahead. Unfortunately, the receptionist was already overwhelmed by the joy of seeing Madame Boss with her own eyes. How could she think of reporting to others? About 5 minutes later, the 2 missing receptionists finally reappeared. Lady at the front desk. Oh, the madam is so beautiful, so gentle, so polite. Her skin is super good up close. There are no pores at all. Pillar of the publicity department. Madam is only in her early 20s this year. Isn't it normal for her to have good skin? Flower of the technical department. A girl in her early 20s who works overtime every night. Her skin is a mess. I'm offended. Secretary Big Bro. Why is it only you? Where's May? The lady at the front desk. Just now, Madam shook hands with May. She was very gentle and told her that it was hard on her to work overtime. Beauty leaned on the front desk and laughed foolishly. She didn't wash her hands for a week. First sister of the publicity department. What the F***CK? Are the front desk's benefits so good? Finger to finger. I also want to shake hands with Madam. Big brother of the technical department. If I can shake hands with Madam, I definitely won't wash my hands for a month, idiot. JPD the receptionist. Do you want to die? How dare you have designs on Madam? Are you going to be punished by the boss? Technology department flower. That's right. Even if she wants to shake hands, Madam will only shake hands with us girls. You stinky men should get lost. Pillar of the publicity department. Why? This is sexism. The head of the secretary department. Just because Madam belongs to boss, if you have the guts, go up to boss and try shaking hands with Madam. Let's see if you can still see the sun tomorrow. All the male employees. Yu Zian, who had been peeking at the group chat while he was picking up young Madam. No wonder young master specifically emphasized that these people were not allowed to get close to young Madam. If they were allowed to do as they pleased, these people would definitely swarm over and eat young Madam up. Chapter 603. Su Yiyan noticed Yu Zian's odd behavior. She looked at him quizzically and asked softly, "What's wrong?" Ahem. Yu Zian hurriedly hid his phone so that Su Yiyan wouldn't see the content. It's okay. I'll take you upstairs to see young master. Su Yiyan didn't suspect anything. She thought about how her husband might be hungry, so she quickly carried the thermos and followed Yu Zian upstairs. Although Hua Xiaoheng, whom Su Yiyan thought was hungry, was sitting in his office, his mind had already drifted downstairs. Su Yiyan had already arrived at the Hua Corporation. Hua Xiaoheng knew exactly where she was, and where she was going from the company's discussions. However, when Su Yiyan appeared in front of his office, Hua Chenhuan put on a perfect act. She asked in surprise, "Why are you here?" "I heard that you've been very busy lately and haven't been eating much, so I made some of your favorite dishes." They're still warm even in the box, so eat them while they're hot. Hua Chenhuan, who had just had dinner not long ago. After a brief moment of confusion, Hua Chenhuan's sharp eyes suddenly landed on Yu Zian. Yu Zian was startled. He finally realized that he had gotten himself into trouble. Su Yiyan mistakenly thought that Hua Chenhuan was angry because Yu Zian had tipped her off, so she hurriedly stood up for him. Don't scare him. I told him to keep an eye on you because I was worried that you wouldn't eat properly. Hua Xiaohing didn't expect that she would actually catch him red-handed. Su Yiyan looked at Hua Chenhuan disapprovingly. She seemed to be saying, "You're already so willful after just getting a little better. Have I been spoiling you too much?" Hua capricious Chenhuan, who had suddenly become the scapegoat, was speechless. He wanted his wife to see how handsome he looked when he was working, not to be lectured. Hua Chenhuan opened his mouth to defend himself, but Su Yiyan did not give him the chance. I specially brought your favorite kung pao chicken, lobster, and some vegetables. The soup is old duck soup that I started boiling in the afternoon. You've been working overtime recently. You need to make up for it before you go back to school. When Yu Zian heard these dishes from behind, his Adam's apple couldn't help but move up and down. Boo-hoo, he was hungry. Su Yiyan didn't notice that he was crying piteously for food. He put the insulated box on the table at the side of the office and opened the lid. The aroma of the dishes and soup suddenly rushed out and filled half of the office. Yu Zian's stomach let out a disappointing growl. It wasn't loud, but it stood out in the empty and quiet office. Su Yiyan instinctively looked up at him, but Hua Chenhuan narrowed his eyes dangerously. Before Su Yiyan could speak, he asked in a deep voice, "Why are you still here?" The disdain and dissatisfaction in his words couldn't be more obvious. Yu Zian trembled all over and said wisely, "I'll leave now. I'll leave now." He could eat again next time, but if he lost his life, he would really lose it. Yu Zian quickly left Hua Chenhuan's office like he was sprinting 100 meters. Before he left, he considerately helped the two of them close the door. Hua Chenhuan's expression finally improved when he saw that he and Su Yiyan were the only ones left in the huge office. Just as he was about to sit down, he heard Su Yiyan mutter regretfully, "Why did he leave so quickly? I brought quite a lot today. I originally wanted to ask him to stay and eat with us. Since he's gone, you're responsible for eating all of it. Don't waste it." Hua Chenhuan. Chapter 604. Hua Chenhuan looked at the 3 dishes, a box of soup, and a big bowl of white rice on the table. His stomach, which was about 80% full, suddenly started to hurt. He silently made a mental note to punish someone. Yu Zian, who had been chased out with an empty stomach, felt his nose itch and sneezed on the spot. Then he hugged his chest and shivered. He had a bad feeling about this. In order to divert attention, Hua Chenhuan took the initiative to change the topic. "Just now downstairs, did our company's employees do anything strange?" "Strange things?" Su Yiyan thought for a moment. "No, your company's employees are very nice and enthusiastic." Hua Chenhuan. It was because they were too enthusiastic that he was worried. Before Hua Chenhuan could continue, Su Yiyan pushed the food in front of him and said with a smile, "Zian, I heard that you didn't eat much at noon and you didn't eat much at night. You must be hungry now, right? Hurry up and eat." Hua Chenhuan met his wife's concerned eyes and couldn't refuse. He took the lunch box from Su Yiyan and ate in silence. Su Yiyan saw him like this and thought that he really didn't have much of an appetite. She secretly planned to cook a few more dishes for him tomorrow. After eating a few mouthfuls, Hua Chenhuan looked at the table full of food that was about to go into his stomach, and his stomach hurt even more. After hesitating for a moment, he suddenly raised his head and looked at Su Yiyan. He coughed softly and asked, "Are you hungry?" "I'm okay. I ate before I came. Eat with me again. It's more appetizing to eat with 2 people." Before Su Yiyan could refuse, Hua Chenhuan took a third of his rice and instantly felt the burden on his shoulders lighten. Su Yiyan was indeed a little hungry. She had been thinking about delivering food to Hua Chenhuan, and rushed over after a few mouthfuls. However, considering Hua Chenhuan's appetite, she didn't want to steal his food. She thought that she could go back first and have supper later. Su Yiyan saw that Hua Chenhuan really didn't want to eat. After hesitating for a moment, She took the half bowl of rice and said, "Okay, I'll eat with you." Hua Chenhuan felt relieved. She put down her chopsticks and began to peel the prawns. "Hurry up and eat. I'll peel the prawns for you." Su Yiyan was slightly startled. "No need, I'll do it myself. You should hurry up and eat too. Let's peel them first before eating. It won't make a difference." He peeled them slowly so that he could buy some time to digest what he had eaten before. Su Yiyan saw that he insisted and didn't say anything else. Occasionally, when he put the peeled prawns in her bowl, Su Yiyan would try to feed him in reverse. She didn't know whether it was Hua Chenhuan's delaying method or his beauty that worked. The food that someone fed him personally was particularly delicious. Hua Chenhuan actually ate more than half of the food that Su Yiyan brought, especially the box of duck soup. Most of it went into his stomach. The consequence of eating too much was that Hua Chenhuan inevitably felt bloated. After standing up, he didn't want to sit down. If Su Yiyan hadn't been present, he would have gone out for a walk to digest the food. Fortunately, Su Yiyan's eyelids had begun to droop, so she didn't notice his subtle discomfort. "Are you tired?" Hua Chenhuan saw her tiredness. He frowned slightly and sat beside her to give her a hug. Su Yiyan leaned into his arms. "A little. I went out with Mom in the afternoon and bought some things to send to Aunt and the others." Chapter 605. Hua Chenhuan kissed her forehead. Seeing that she was really tired, he was worried about letting her go back alone. "You rest here first. I still have something to deal with. Let's go home together later?" "Okay." Su Yiyan hugged his waist and rubbed against his chest. She said casually, "Have you been very busy recently?" "A little. Is it because you want to go to my uncle's place with me?" Hua Chenhuan was stunned and didn't speak for a long time. Seeing this, Su Yiyan already had the answer in her heart. She said apologetically, "Actually, I can go alone." She was too naive. Hua Chenhuan had just recovered. There must be a lot of things for him to deal with in the company, but she always wanted to take him away. "I want to go with you." Hua Chenhuan sighed and hugged the person in his arms tighter. "I don't want to be separated from you for so long." Su Yiyan didn't say anything. Maybe she didn't know how to answer because she didn't want to be separated from Hua Chenhuan for so long either. "Don't think too much. Before I came to the company, didn't the company run normally? I just finished some necessary handover in advance so that I can have more time to go out with you. This is my selfishness. It doesn't have much to do with whether I go to your uncle's place or not." Su Yiyan was silent for a long time and advised in a low voice, "Then you have to do what you can. You can't be fat without eating. We still have a long time in the future. We can do whatever we want. If you are too tired and your body collapses, how can you accompany me in the future?" Hua Chenhuan could hear the concern and worry in her words. He smiled slightly and replied in a low voice, "Okay, I'll listen to you." Su Yiyan was really tired. After a few more words with Hua Chenhuan, she fell asleep in a daze. When she woke up again, she didn't know how much time had passed. She vaguely heard Hua Chenhuan and 2 or 3 unfamiliar voices. As if sensing her movements, the room fell silent. Soon after, a series of footsteps could be heard. "He's awake." Su Yiyan still couldn't open her eyes. "Let's take a short nap. We'll be home soon." "Yes." After coaxing Su Yiyan back to sleep, Hua Chenhuan heaved a sigh of relief and turned to look at the several department heads in the room. A few ministers walked into the office. At first, they looked around curiously, wanting to see Madame with their own eyes. However, before this thought could even surface, it was suppressed by Hua Chenhuan's cold glare. The few of them didn't dare to look around anymore. They lowered their heads and reported their work conscientiously. They were even warned by the big boss. After staying in the office for half an hour, they suddenly heard a movement from the sofa with its back facing them. A fair and slender hand seemed to stretch out from behind the sofa. Everyone's hearts trembled as they heard Rao moan. Then, they saw their domineering and cold big boss walking over nervously. Moreover, he was coaxing the person behind the sofa with a gentle voice that they had never heard before. It made them wonder if their boss's soul had been possessed. As soon as this thought came to their minds, they met Hua Chenhuan's cold and warning gaze. They all shuddered on the spot at the same time. That's right, this was indeed their boss. His soul hadn't been possessed. However, they didn't expect their boss to be so gentle in front of Madame. Sure enough, people were different. Today was still the day they cried for someone else's beautiful love. Chapter 606. The department heads had to work overtime in the middle of the night. Not only were they tortured by their work, but they were also forced to endure the lovey-dovey display of affection from their boss. When they came out of Hua Chunhuan's office, they all looked like they were about to die. However, those who were able to survive under Hua Chunhuan's management, until now and even become department heads were basically invincible. Soon this group of people became lively again. They opened the company's group chat and began to smugly leak information. Planning department head. I just came out of Big Boss's office. Hee receptionist. Why are you smiling so slyly? Tell me the truth. Did you see Madam in Big Boss's office? Publicity department head. We wanted to, but Big Boss was so strict that we didn't even see a single strand of her hair. Doghead legal department head. You're not being serious. Although we didn't see a single strand of her hair, we did see her slender hands. Technical department head. Huh? You're so perverted. Big Boss will come down to find you in a bit. Legal department head. F***ck, don't curse me, okay? Big Boss is busy with Madam right now. He doesn't have the time to waste on me. Secretarial department head. You can try. Smile receptionist. What nonsense are you talking about? So what did you see in Big Boss's office? Publicity department head. We saw tons of lovey-dovey display. Legal department head. We saw beautiful love that doesn't belong to me. Technical department head. We saw sour lemons all over the screen. Secretarial department head. We saw Big Boss's soul. After returning to his office, Yuzian drank another large bottle of nutrient solution. He looked at the screen full of jokes and finally couldn't take it anymore. You is not a fish. F***king talk like a human. The group chat was dead silent for a few seconds. Finally, they all started talking at once. Publicity department head. Basically, as soon as we entered the office, Big Boss fiercely told us to be quiet. Technical department head. At first, we didn't realize it. We thought Big Boss was in a bad mood, so we lowered our voices and reported our work. We were afraid that Big Boss would use us as an example and publicly abuse us. Legal department head. Later, we found out that Madam was sleeping on the sofa in Big Boss's office. She was wrapped tightly in a blanket, and we couldn't even see a strand of her hair. Secretary number 1. If Madam hadn't suddenly woken up, we wouldn't have noticed that there was someone there. Oh yeah, Madam seemed to be in a daze after she woke up. She put her hand on the back of the sofa. Boss was so nervous when he saw that. He left us all and ran over to put her hand back under the blanket. That's right, it was stuffed back. Have you ever seen such a possessive Big Boss? In any case, I've never seen one before. Through the screen, everyone in the group could imagine the secretary's sister rolling her eyes. But when they thought about it carefully, why were they so jealous? The head of the Human Resources Department. Not only did he hide his hand, but Boss also coaxed Madam for a while and gently coaxed her back to sleep. That gentle tone made me wonder if Big Boss's soul had been possessed. Head of Publicity Department. You're not alone. IT head. You're not alone plus 1 head of legal affairs. You're not alone plus 2 secretary. You're not alone plus as soon as the head of the Human Resources Department said this, it immediately received the approval of countless colleagues. At this time, a certain rouse reply caused the entire group to explode. Chapter 607. Big Bro from the Technical Department. Ahem, am I the only one who thinks that it's not easy for Madam to sleep in Boss's office at this time? It's late at night, a man and a woman alone in a room, and they have such a good relationship. It's like dry wood burning with fire. As soon as someone made this guess, everyone was enlightened, and the screen was filled with, what the F***ck? Wolf from the Publicity Department. Are you saying that Madam fell asleep in Boss's office because she was tired? That explains why Boss is so nervous. He's probably worried that we saw something we shouldn't have. Elite from the Legal Department. TSK. I suspect that you're driving, and I have evidence. The topic was completely diverted, and one train after another whizzed past. The two people who had no idea that their employees had been identified as driving in boss's office had just finished packing up and were preparing to go home. Su Yiyan yawned and leaned into Hua Chenhuan's arms. Her legs were so weak that she didn't want to move. She didn't know what was wrong with her, but she was especially tired these days and her legs were weak. Maybe it was because her period was coming. Seeing her like this, Hua Chenhuan didn't dare to let go. He gently supported her and helped her put on her jacket. Then he walked out with her in his arms. Unbeknownst to him, this scene inevitably fell into the eyes of the girls at the front desk, and it inevitably caused a heated discussion in the industry. Beauty at the front desk. Boss is so gentle in front of Madam. He was worried that Madam would be cold, so he took off his jacket and put it on Madam. Madam was too sleepy to open her eyes, so he coaxed her and carefully helped her put it on. There are pictures to prove it. Boo-hoo, what kind of love is this? I'm jealous. Picture. 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 The girl at the front desk felt that she couldn't be the only one being abused. It was better to enjoy it together than to enjoy it alone. She sent all the pictures she took to the group, and as expected, she received a row of sour lemons. After this incident, although Hua Chenhuan didn't manage to let Su Yiyan see how handsome he looked when he was working hard, he at least showed a wave of affection in front of his employees and declared his sovereignty. After a few more days, it was time for Su Yiyan and Qin Xiueru's appointment. Uncle Zhang was very reluctant to let the two masters of the house go away for more than a month. When they set off, they reminded the parents of all the things they needed to pay attention to along the way. Those who didn't know would think that the students were going on a spring outing, and the parents were so nervous that they wanted to follow them. Su Yiyan, on the other hand, was used to this. Every time she went out in the past, her parents and brother liked to nag like this as well. They wanted nothing more than to tie her to their belts and bring her with them wherever they went. She finally managed to deal with Uncle Zhang's nagging, but the biggest problem was her puppy. In view of old Master Cheng's deep love for this dog, he was quite unhappy when he heard that Su Yiyan had sent it to Hua Chenhuan's place to raise it. This time he definitely had to bring it along. Unfortunately, this guy had recently been getting along well with Ling Xiaoqi's Hua Hua. Every now and then, he would run to Ling Xiaoqi. Although most of the time, he was rejected by Ling Xiaoqi, his mother-in-law. At the door, at least he had something to think about. However, if he left with Su Yiyan, he probably wouldn't be able to see his wife in a short period of time. This guy, who forgot about his master after seeing a girl, decisively adopted the method of crying, throwing a tantrum, and threatening to hang himself. He ran around and didn't cooperate. Chapter 608. You're heartless. Su Yiyan looked at Dundun, who was covered in dried grass and leaves, that Yuan had dug out of the dog hole in the corner of the yard. She laughed and scolded. Grandfather dotes on you so much. When you were at home, he would always take you out for a walk. Now that you have a wife, you're turning your back on me? Dundun kicked its short legs and barked. Obviously, it did not accept Su Yiyan's words. Su Yiyan was angry and amused at the same time. Look at you. It's not like we won't be coming back. Do you have to be so desperate? You're making me look like an evil parent who wants to break up an affectionate couple. Woof woof woof. Dundun struggled even harder when it heard her words. Dundun slid down from Roly Yuan's hand and ran into the house with its short legs. Yuan hurriedly followed it in. Hua Chenhuan frowned. She seemed to have lost her patience and followed behind Yuan to catch the dog. Su Yiyan also wanted to go in but was stopped by Uncle Zhang. Uncle Zhang. Su Yiyan turned to look at him with a puzzled expression. Young master's birthday is in half a month. Su Yiyan was stunned. Hua Chenhuan's birthday was a taboo day in the family Hua, because Hua Chenhuan's parents died in an accident one after another while rushing back to celebrate his birthday. Since then, Hua Chenhuan had never celebrated his birthday again. He did not even allow anyone to mention it. Su Yiyan knew that Uncle Zhang told her this in hopes that she could help Hua Chenhuan get out of this situation. Blindly avoiding it would only cause one to sink deeper and deeper. If the scar was covered up, even if it looked better on the outside, it would continue to rot on the inside. The deeper the rot, the more painful it would be. Originally, I thought that we could have a banquet in half a month and gather everyone together. Now it seems. Uncle Zhang was both happy and worried when he learned that Hu Chenhuan and Qin Haodong were going on a long trip. He was happy that Hu Chenhuan was finally willing to step out for Su Yiyan, but he was also worried that the upcoming taboo day would once again shatter the hard-won harmony. Su Yiyan knew what he was worried about. Don't worry, I will try my best to help him celebrate a beautiful and unforgettable birthday. I will let him be happy on his birthday every year and forget his troubles. Then I'll leave it to you. Uncle Zhang's eyes flashed, and he bowed deeply to Su Yiyan. When Hu Chenhuan returned with Dundun in her arms, she saw this scene. After getting into the car, she asked curiously, "What did Uncle Zhang say to you just now?" Su Yiyan did not answer his question immediately. Instead, he reached out and poked Dundun's head. "Still want to run? Are you still running?" Dundun knew that it could not escape this time. The whole dog was stunned. It lay in Hu Chenhuan's arms miserably and did not make a sound. Su Yiyan saw that and stopped teasing it. He turned to Hu Chenhuan and said with a smile, "It's all because someone hasn't been out for a long time. Uncle Zhang is worried that the child at home does not know how to take care of his mother. He has nowhere to put his heart, so he can only ask me to help take care of her." Hu Chenhuan looked at Su Yiyan's smug face and smiled slightly. "Are you sure you are taking care of me and not the other way around? You are taking care of me?" Su Yiyan raised his eyebrows. "Can you cook?" "No." "Can you wash clothes?" "No." "Can you tidy up the room?" "No." Su Yiyan blinked and looked innocent. "Then what are you taking care of me for?" Chapter 609. The triple blow stunned Hu Chenhuan on the spot. When he came to his senses and realized that Su Yiyan did not seem to know how to do these things, the two of them had already boarded the plane to Sea City. The flight from a city to Sea City actually only took an hour and a half. Su Yiyan closed her eyes for a while, and when she opened them again, they had already arrived. The person who came to pick them up was Cheng Juanhao. This man, who was about to be promoted to a stay-at-home dad, could be said to be glowing recently. His spirit had also improved, and he looked a few years younger. However, there were two obvious dark circles under his eyes, probably because he had not slept well recently. "You're finally here. Go, 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 your aunt is still waiting for you at home." As soon as Cheng Juanhao received the two of them, he excitedly led them out, and the smile on his face never disappeared. "How's Aunt recently? Did the baby disturb her?" "Yes." The smile on Cheng Juanhao's face deepened when he talked about his wife and child. "This little brat is always making a fuss. We are worried that he can't stand it anymore and wants to come out early. Aunt's due date should be 2 or 3 weeks away, right?" "Yes, but Dad and I are worried about your aunt's health. After all, she is not old. We want to let her stay in the hospital in 2 weeks. If she really does come out early, we can take care of her." Although Cheng Juanhao was happy to have a baby, he was also worried about his wife's health. These few days he would occasionally wake up in the middle of the night, afraid that when his wife moved, he would not hear it when he fell asleep. Su Yiyan saw his worry and comforted him. Although Aunt is not old, her health has always been good. She also pays attention to her health during pregnancy. Nothing will happen. With your words, I am relieved. Cheng Juanhao smiled and did not say anything else. When Cheng Juanhao brought the two of them back to the Cheng family, it was almost noon. The Cheng family's courtyard was a little similar to the ancient Earth's courtyard. Although it was not as grand as the Su family's family Huavilla, it had a unique charm of its own. Qin Shueru received a call from Cheng Juanhao and was waiting in the hall early. When he heard the commotion outside, he immediately got up and went out to greet them. She was already 9 months pregnant. Her belly was round, and it was not very convenient for her to walk. When Su Yiyan and the others saw her coming out, they quickly took the initiative to greet her. Slow down, slow down. Su Yiyan quickly stepped forward to support Qin Shueru. Your stomach is already so big, why are you still running out? I'm just happy to hear the commotion and know that you're here. Qin Shueru even took the initiative to greet Hu Chenhuan. Chenhuan is here too. Don't be shy. Just treat this as your own home. Hua Chenhua nodded and handed the suitcases in her hands, along with the ones in Cheng Juanhao's hands, to the servants at home. She only carried the pet cage with Dundun in it. Qin Shueru looked at the large row of boxes behind them and was shocked. "What did you guys bring?" she asked. "There are so many boxes." "Except for 2 of the clothes that Chen Huan and I brought over. My mother asked us to bring the rest. There are diapers, milk powder, and clothes. I don't know what they are, but there are a lot of them." Pfft. Qin Shueru was stunned and laughed out loud. "We have all these things here. You guys have to specially bring them over from afar. Also, we are not sure if it is a boy or a girl. Why are you buying clothes?" Chapter 610. Su Yiyan laughed as well. "What my mom means is that newborn babies look the same regardless of whether they're a boy or a girl. It's hard to tell, and clothes can be worn together. When my brother was born, my mom even bought him a dress to wear." Big Brother Su, who had his dark history dug up, was speechless. "Can you not talk about such embarrassing things? Do you think I don't care about my reputation?" When Qin Shueru heard Su Yiyan's words, she tried to imagine how Su Yuxuan would look in a dress and was amused again. "All right, I'll call them later to thank them." "Okay." Su Yiyan helped Qin Shueru into the living room. She looked around and asked softly, "Where's Grandpa? Why don't I see him?" "He's fishing in the backyard. I heard him arguing with a few of his old friends in the backyard. I heard that the servants nearby were arguing so much that they were about to fight." "Fight?" Hua Chenhuan was a little surprised. She wasn't surprised that old Master Cheng was arguing with someone, but she was surprised that he was arguing with someone in the backyard, and almost got into a fight. Why were his family members so calm and even smiling? As if she could read Hua Chenhuan's mind, Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. "Those who were invited by my grandfather to fish in the backyard are basically the elders around here. They've been friends with my grandfather for decades, so it's normal for them to argue and argue. They won't really get into a fight." Su Yiyan turned and asked Qin Shueru, "Why did they quarrel today?" Qin Shueru looked behind her and leaned closer to Su Yiyan. "They've been fishing for the whole morning. Everyone else more or less caught 1 or 2 fish. Only old Master Cheng didn't catch a single fish." Su Yiyan instantly understood. Among old Master Cheng's old friends, one of them was Grandpa Li, who had known him for the longest time and loved to bicker with him the most. Grandpa Li would usually bicker with him. Since old Master Cheng didn't catch a single fish this morning, this old man would definitely mock her grandfather. Her grandfather had a bad temper, so wouldn't he start arguing with him again? While the 2 of them were talking, they heard a loud reprimand coming from the backyard. "There's no need. I don't have anything to eat, so why would I care about a thumb-sized fish like you?" "Old Cheng, you can't say that. Didn't you return your precious granddaughter early this morning? You want to catch a big fish to nourish her body? I saw that you didn't catch anything this morning, so I wanted to give you one. Don't be ungrateful. Get lost. How could I not know what kind of person you are? Those 2 fish seedlings of yours aren't even enough to make a fish soup. I don't care." About a minute or 2 later, old Master Cheng angrily ran back from the backyard with a fishing rod in his hand. Seeing Su Yiyan and the others standing in the hall, the expression on the old man's face suddenly froze. He coughed lightly and said, When did you arrive?" "We just arrived." Su Yiyan quickly reacted and said with a smile, "Grandpa, did you go fishing again?" Old Master Cheng subconsciously tightened his grip on the fishing rod in his hand and said awkwardly, "Originally, I thought that it was rare for you to come back, so I wanted to catch a fish in the pond in the backyard to nourish your body. Who knew that my luck wasn't so good today?" Old Master Cheng was stumped. He felt that it wasn't that his luck wasn't good today, but that the fish in his pond had all been caught by his old friends. That was why he couldn't give his precious granddaughter an extra meal. Thinking of this, he felt a little regretful. If he had known this would happen, he would have caught a lot of fish by himself. Chapter 611. Su Yiyan could tell that her grandfather was depressed. She smiled faintly and said, don't worry. I'll make you Yuxiang shredded pork later. I guarantee it'll taste better than any fish." "Yuxiang shredded pork?" Grandpa Chung was stunned. Shredded pork made from fish? No, Yuxiang, shredded pork doesn't use fish. It uses pork. You'll know in a while. Su Yiyan held Grandpa Cheng's hand as they walked inside. Grandpa Chung was comforted by Su Yiyan, and his anger finally subsided. So what if these old men had fish? He had a granddaughter who cared about him. Really? Then I'll have to try it. Also, the braised food you asked someone to send over last time was delicious. Okay, I'll make it for you later. But you can't eat too much at once. You'll get heaty. Okay. Grandpa will listen to you. I'll listen to you. Chung Juanhao looked at their backs and chuckled. In our family, only Yin Yan can coax Dad. Qin Shueru held her stomach and walked inside. Yin Yan is obedient, sensible, and knows how to coax people. If it were me, I'd listen to her too. Chung Juanhao laughed and hurried forward to support his wife. At the same time, he called out to Hua Chunhuan, who was still carrying Dundun. You must be tired from the journey. Go in and rest. We don't have to be so formal in our own home. Don't be so restrained. Hua Chunhuan nodded and followed the two inside with Dundun. Su Yiyan was no stranger to the Chung family. After coaxing Grandpa Chung, she hurried into the kitchen to prepare lunch. The Chung family had a cook. This cook was very old. For as long as Su Yiyan could remember, she had been working in the Chung family. She had watched Su Yiyan grow up. When she saw Su Yiyan enter, her eyes lit up and she hurried over. Yin Yan sis is back. Aunt Fong. Su Yiyan walked over and hugged her. She smiled and said, I just arrived. What are you cooking? I've boiled a bowl of soup and made a few dishes that you specifically instructed me to make for young madam. I haven't had the time to make the rest. Su Yiyan would send over a set of medicinal herbs and recipes to prevent miscarriage every half a month. Within a few months, Aunt Fong had learned many dishes. Although the taste was not as good as Su Yiyan's, at least it was nutritionally balanced and hygienic. Qin Shueru felt more at ease eating it. Su Yiyan glanced at the dishes that Aunt Fong had already prepared. I'll cook the rest. Let Grandpa and the others have a taste of my cooking. Since she had already done so, Aunt Fong naturally had no objections and tactfully retreated from the kitchen. Because Qin Shueru was pregnant, the ingredients at home were especially fresh and complete. Su Yiyan walked around and calculated the ingredients that she might need before turning on the live stream. The number of followers in Su Yiyan's live stream had already reached 8 digits. Usually, there would be people hanging in the live stream all year round waiting for her to come online. Therefore, when she started the live stream, people immediately noticed it. Look at what I've found. Our cutie has suddenly appeared. Ha 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 ha. The host always pops out from time to surprise us. I'm so lucky today. I'll go buy a lottery ticket later. The background of the host's live stream has changed again. Where is it this time? The background looks a little like an old house. I'm at my maternal grandfather's house now. This is my maternal grandfather's kitchen. Due to some special reasons, I have to stay here for a month or two. Therefore, you might see this kitchen often in the future. Chapter 6:12. Grandpa's house? This kitchen doesn't seem to be as well decorated as the previous ones. Is it an old house? It looks a bit like my house. As soon as these words came out, many people immediately agreed. Su Yiyan's previous kitchens looked particularly magnificent. Every brick and tile was filled with the smell of money. It was rare to see a kitchen that was similar to their own. Everyone was a little excited and talked about what their own kitchens were like. However, many people thought that talking about their own kitchens was secretly flaunting their wealth. After all, not many people would go out of their way to build a kitchen. If they didn't even know how to cook, building a kitchen would be a waste of space. However, soon someone jumped out and attacked the audience who were complacent and felt that they finally had the same style as the host. I advise you not to take it too seriously. Although the host's grandpa's house is an old house, it's definitely not a simple old house. Looking at the wooden cabinet behind the host, it should be made of mahogany. How expensive is mahogany? Even if you haven't seen the real thing, you should have at least heard of it, right? As soon as these words came out, the audience who had commented that they had a kitchen like the host's grandpa's house suddenly became silent. After that, the audience who pointed out the reality of the situation focused on the kitchen furniture included in the camera, and came to the conclusion that each one was more expensive than the other. The audience was speechless. They thought that it was rare to have a similar style, but they didn't expect that the host was just showing off her wealth in a low-key way. For a moment, I don't know whether to sigh at the scientific expert's erudition, or that the host's house is really rich. Upstairs +1. I'm so sad that I'm crying poor tears. Su Yiyen didn't care about how these people were digging into the old items in her grandpa's kitchen. She was busy making the braised food that her grandpa had ordered. Making braised food was actually quite simple. Among the things that Su Yiyen brought this time was the braised food bag that was precisely prepared by the restaurant. After adding the medicine bag, adding an appropriate amount of water to boil it, it was ready. After a while, the strange and overbearing aroma dissipated throughout the live broadcast room, hooking everyone's appetite. Oh, this is the smell. The last time I smelled this smell in the host's live broadcast room, I forced myself to drink 2 bottles of nutrient solution. After that, my stomach felt uncomfortable for a few days. It's really hopeless. I didn't expect the streamer to make braised food today. I bought it from the streamer's shop once before, and I've been thinking about the taste ever since. Previous poster, please don't show off. The braised food in the streamer's shop is also limited. I haven't managed to snatch it even once. I've tried it from there. I can smell it but can't eat it. It's really enough to make me cry. Su Yiyen had also thought of selling the braised buns directly, but this suggestion was met with opposition from many people in the mausoleum. The malicious competition from before was truly too vile. It had almost become a psychological shadow that many people in the mausoleum could not get rid of. After all, this medicine pack was filled with medicinal herbs. Su Yiyen had repeatedly emphasized that eating too much of this stuff would cause excessive internal heat. However, it was hard to guarantee that there would still be some people who ate this stuff for 3 meals a day. At that time, if there was really a problem with the food, wouldn't they have to come back to blackmail them again? After some discussion, they decided that not only could they not sell the medicine packs, but they also had to limit the amount of braised food in the store. This would reduce the burden of the store's employees and ensure that more people could buy it and try it. Chapter 6:13. Su Yiyen was speechless by their logical business sense and finally acquiesced to their actions. However, no matter how limited the purchase was, the items were limited. Their store had a large flow of customers, and basically everyone who went to their store wanted to bring a portion of braised food back. Over time, the braised food became the most popular product in their store. When Su Yiyen saw the comments on the screen, he mistakenly thought that everyone was not interested in the braised food. As he put the peeled boiled eggs, duck gizzards, pork, beef, and other things into the braised water, he explained, "Someone at home wanted to eat this, so I made some. Sorry for the delay. We'll make some new food and medicinal cuisine in a while." It's not a delay. I like this braised food. With this taste, I feel like I can eat 2 more bowls of rice. Host, I'm afraid you have some misunderstanding about your cooking. This braised food is super delicious, okay? Just because someone at home wanted to eat it, you made it. It's so sour that it's like a lemon. Is the host's family really not short of people? Upstairs, please feel free to queue behind. The host's family has already lined up to outer space. How can you cut the queue? Sob sob sob. I'm only concerned about this braised food host. Will she draw a prize later? Can you tell me the inside story? I really want to eat it. Su Yiyen looked at everyone's enthusiasm for the braised food, and did not know whether to laugh or cry. At the same time, he could not help but sigh at the foresight of his employees. Even if they knew that eating too much of this would make them heady, foodies would still sacrifice themselves for the food without any hesitation. If you like it, you can draw a few later. Since it was already cooked, it was not too troublesome to add more ingredients. Okay, someone at home is going to have a baby soon, so today, we'll make some dishes and medicinal cuisine for pregnant women in the late stages. As soon as Su Yiyen said that, the live stream room began to stir. The host is going to have a baby? Congratulations. Ha ha ha, upstairs, I thought the host was going to have a baby. I wish you all the best. While I'm at it, I'm just about to have a baby. Su Yiyan's words successfully created a bunch of expectant parents, and expectant parents. As a result, for a long time after that, the comments on the screen of the live broadcast were all about parenting. The viewers who came in later were confused and thought that they had accidentally entered the parenting channel. First, let's make soup. Today we're going to make wolfberry black chicken soup. Black chicken has high edible and medicinal value, and it's rich in protein. It's very suitable for pregnant women in the 3rd trimester. It can be used with wolfberry to nourish the liver and kidneys, as well as replenish the blood. Expectant mothers in the 3rd trimester also need to take in more protein and vitamins. So during this period of time, they should eat more fish, meat, and the internal organs of pigs, cows, and sheep, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables to replenish their protein and vitamins. Su Yiyan stewed the soup as she ate. After that, she made stir-fried pork kidney, potato ribs, seaweed beef, chestnut stewed chicken, and other dishes. For a moment, the live stream room was filled with smoke. The fragrance of different dishes mixed with the fragrance of the previous pot of braised food made the viewers' stomachs growl. They eagerly waited for Su Yiyan's lucky draw. After preparing Qin Shuiru's pregnancy meal, Su Yiyan began to prepare lunch for Old Master Cheng and the others. Chapter 614. Su Yiyan first made a big pot of boiled beef, then she made Hu Chenhuan's favorite shrimp. Finally, she made the yuxiang shredded pork that she had promised the old man. The last dish is a little special. It's called yuxiang shredded pork, but it doesn't use fish. Instead, it uses pork tenderloin. As for why it's called yuxiang shredded pork, it's because of the fish flavor of the dish itself. The so-called fish flavor is the main seasoning of fish chili and pickled pepper, which can produce a kind of fish flavor when cooking. That's why it's called yuxiang shredded pork. Su Yiyan quickly cut the pork tenderloin into thin strips. She added salt, cooking wine, and other seasonings to marinate it. After that, she removed the marinated meat until it was oily white and set it aside for later use. During this time, she looked up at the broadcast room and found that many people were really interested in this dish. And the most prominent one among them was, "Is this really yuxiang shredded pork? I've ordered yuxiang shredded pork at Hai restaurant before, and it seemed to be made with fish." Su Yiyan froze for a moment. It wasn't because of the yuxiang shredded pork that used fish, but because of the Hai restaurant that this person mentioned. Wasn't Hai restaurant the name of the restaurant group under Do Yi that Hu Chenhuan had mentioned to her before? I don't know what kind of yuxiang shredded pork you've eaten in the restaurant, but the yuxiang shredded pork of ancient earth didn't use fish. Su Yiyan seemed to have thought of something and laughed softly. In ancient earth, there was a saying that there was no fish in yuxiang shredded pork, and there was no wife in wife biscuits. It's a delicacy that doesn't match the name. The audience member who asked the question didn't want to find fault. He was just curious. After listening to Su Yiyan's words, he didn't continue to dwell on this issue. The other audience members were attracted by Su Yiyan's words and became curious about the wife biscuit she mentioned. "Host, what is wife biscuit? Why is it called wife biscuit? Can I find a wife if I eat it? If so, can I make an appointment for a dozen?" Make an appointment for a dozen? Are you in a hurry to find someone to beat you? How dare you ask for an appointment with the streamer? Do you want to be put in a gunny sack on your way to work? Legend has it that the wife biscuit was made by the wife of a pastry chef. After the pastry chef improved it, it became the wife biscuit. Because the main ingredient of this kind of biscuit was winter melon, the crust would be crispy and as thin as a piece of tissue paper after being baked, so it had another elegant name, which was winter mushroom crisp. Because this biscuit is sweet and delicious, suitable for both young and old, many places later liked to use it as wedding biscuits, so it is also called a wedding biscuit. The audience almost drooled when they heard Su Yiyan's description of the taste. However, Su Yiyan's budget for today's live broadcast did not include the wife biscuit. It was truly torturous to be able to hear it, think about it, but not see it or eat it. Sob, sob, sob. I'm begging the streamer to make this wife biscuit. Single girls need comfort. The two of them wrote a letter in blood begging the streamer to make this wifey biscuit. I want to use it to confess to my goddess. In the beginning, many of the male viewers in the live broadcast room heard Su Yiyan talk about the origin and story of this illness, and felt that it had nothing to do with them. When they saw this message, they felt enlightened. Yes, since this biscuit was called a wifey biscuit, they could buy it for their wives, girlfriends, and goddesses. Who didn't have a wife or girlfriend, who needed to be coaxed and hugged when they quarreled? Who didn't have a goddess who they secretly loved, and was afraid of offending when they confessed? Chapter 6:15. As long as they had this wife biscuit, they would no longer have to worry about quarreling with their girlfriends, wives, and not knowing what to buy home to coax them. As long as they had this wife biscuit, they would no longer have to worry about how to break the ice with their goddess. If their hint was too obvious, the other party would not be interested in them and would feel awkward. If their hint was too subtle, the other party would be too slow to notice. All of a sudden, the male compatriots in the live broadcast room collectively rioted. One after another, they flooded the screen, hoping that the host would pity the poor single people and the poor married people who were often kicked out of the guest room, and make this wife biscuit. Su Yiyan did not expect that his casual mention of the wife biscuit would attract such a large number of fans with evil intentions. After a while, he did not know whether to laugh or cry. The live broadcast was rushed this time, and the ingredients were not prepared in advance. Next time, I will make wife biscuits for you. Although the audience in the live broadcast room felt regretful, since Su Yiyan promised to make it next time, many of them were quite happy. They all said that they would remember it, and that the host must remember to make it for them next time. Don't stand them up. Su Yiyan agreed with a faint smile, and opened the lid to take a look at the black chicken soup. Then he heated up the pot, put the stored ginger, garlic, dried chili, and dried pepper into the pot and stir-fried the red oil. Then he put the shredded meat into the pot and stir-fried it until the color changed. Ginger, garlic, and chili were originally ingredients with strong flavor. Now that they were in the pot, the aroma filled the air. When the main ingredient was added, the aroma was even more overwhelming. The audience in the live broadcast room temporarily forgot about the wife biscuit they had been longing for. When the meat in the pot had changed color, he stir-fried the vegetables and fungus until it was cooked and put it on a plate. The moment the dish was out of the pot, the audience in the live broadcast room could not help but gasp. Su Yiyan put the dish aside first and fished out some braised food from the pot that had been cooking for some time. After slicing it, the live broadcast room was almost over. Su Yiyan asked Aunt Fong to come in and help him take the dish out. Unexpectedly, as soon as he walked out of the kitchen, he saw several familiar faces in his house. Grandpa Li, Grandpa Fan, Grandpa Deng. Why are you all here? When the elders saw Su Yiyan come out, their eyes lit up and they quickly changed their expressions. They asked, "Yin Yan is back, and you look more beautiful. Isn't it? Back then, she looked like a black coal ball. Now she's fair, tall, and beautiful. She's even prettier than those TV stars." Su Yiyan. Although there was indeed a period of time when she was tanned, there was no need to emphasize it so much. When old Master Chung heard his words, he was also unhappy. Go, go, go. When has our Yin Yan ever been shady? That's called health. You don't know anything yet you're still spouting nonsense. We're innocent. That's right. Grandpa Li, who had always been arguing with old Master Chung, agreed with him for once. No matter how dark Yin Yan is, he's still much fairer than that mud monkey of yours who jumps up and down. How dare he complain that Yin Yan is dark? Grandpa Fan, who had become the target of public criticism because of his clumsy mouth. Since when did I dislike Yin Yan? Which eye of yours saw me despising Yin Yan? I feel wronged. Grandpa Li shamelessly used his connections to intimidate others. Then he turned to look at Su Yiyan with a smile. Yin Yan, are you cooking? Su Yiyan. Fine, I see. These people are here to freeload. Chapter 6:16. Su Yiyan cleared her throat and said, Grandpa wants to eat braised food, so I'll make some. Of course, Grandpa Li knew that she was making braised food. The Chung family had made this once before, and the fragrance had spread for miles. It had attracted the attention of all the families in the area. At that time, they had followed the smell to the Chung family and wanted this old man to give them some. What did this bastard say? This is a gift from my family's yin yang. There's only one packet, and it's gone after you eat it. If you want to eat it, ask your grandchildren for it. Grandpa Lee and the others didn't get to eat it, and were even shown off. When they got home, they scolded their grandchildren. Look at other people's children, and then look at them. It's better to raise a piece of barbecued pork. At least barbecued pork is edible. Everyone who had to bear the infamy of being unfilial for no reason. We are so wronged. The most infuriating thing was that they thought it would be gone after one use. Although they were greedy, they couldn't really fight with Grandpa Chung for a few pieces of meat. Who would have thought that after 3 or 4 days when it was time to eat, they could smell the strong fragrance coming from the Chung family? Grandpa Lee and the others who finally realized that they had been deceived. What the hell? There's only one packet? Doesn't your conscience hurt to deceive your old friends for decades? Later, they found out that there was indeed only one packet, but the broth from this packet could be recycled, and the more it was cooked, the more fragrant it would be. They were so angry that their stomachs hurt. In the end, they decided to go to Grandpa Chang's house and threaten him. Only then did they each get some braised meat and chicken feet to try it at home. It was just that he was only curious before he ate it, but after taking a bite he started to worry about it, thinking about it day and night. Grandpa Lee had just insulted Grandpa Chung, and carried a few fish home with satisfaction when he smelled the familiar fragrance coming from the Chung family's house. Grandpa Lee glanced at the fish in his own bucket, and then looked at the Chung family not far away, which was emitting a human scent. Did he have to be slapped in the face so quickly? Grandpa Lee wasn't the only one who was attracted by the fragrance. A while ago, the few old men who had dispersed gathered in front of the Chung family's house and looked at each other. After walking around for about 10 minutes, they finally couldn't take it anymore, and went in together. Grandpa Lee stared at the plate of braised food in Su Yiyen's hands. He wanted to say something but stopped himself. In the end, it was another grandpa on the side who coughed lightly and said shamelessly, "Are you guys preparing to eat? It just so happens that we haven't eaten either." As soon as he said that, old Master Chang's face darkened. He knew that these shameless old fellows were here to snatch food from him. Su Yiyen didn't expect them to be so straightforward. He was startled. Then he glanced at his grandfather's face, which was as black as the bottom of a pot, and an idea flashed through his mind. Ahem, it's rare for grandpas to come here. Logically speaking, I should ask you to stay for a meal. Their eyes lit up, but old Master Chang's face turned even darker. But I didn't know you were coming, so I didn't cook much at home. The joyful expressions on their faces suddenly froze. Old Master Chung, on the other hand, raised his chin proudly like a victorious rooster. How about this? I'll pack a portion of braised food for each grandpa. Grandpas, take it home first. When there's a chance next time, I'll cook more and invite you grandpas over to have some fun. What do you think? Chapter 617. When Grandpa Lee and the others heard Su Yiyen's words, they thought that there was no hope of tasting this fragrant braised food today. Unexpectedly, at the last moment, there was a glimmer of hope. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up, but he still maintained a somewhat reserved tone. How can I accept this? Old Master Chung couldn't stand their shameless faces, so he snorted coldly. If you're embarrassed, then don't ask for it. Take it or leave it. If you don't want it, scram. When Grandpa Lee heard that, the smile on his face faded slightly, and he couldn't help but argue with him again. Old Chung, your words are meaningless. To think that you're Yin Yan's grandfather. You're not as cute as Yin Yan at all. No matter how cute she is, Yin Yan is still my granddaughter. Rain Maiden had no melons. Grandpa Lee choked and glared fiercely at old Master Chung. This old man's temper was like a stone in a latrine pit. He was smelly and stubborn, but he had such a cute, sensible, and capable granddaughter. Did he burn too many incense sticks in his previous life? When he thought about how he had such a granddaughter who could eat such delicious food, Grandpa Lee was filled with envy and jealousy. He was so angry that his eyes turned red. The other grandpas were the same. There was no lack of people with solid family backgrounds, and most of their families were very harmonious. Their only regret was that they didn't have someone who could cook so well. They didn't have the luck to eat such delicious food. Old Master Ching met everyone's resentful gazes without any psychological burden. The gloominess of being ridiculed for not fishing in the morning completely disappeared without a trace. So what if you're good at fishing? There's still no one to cook for you. Su Yiyan saw the smug and arrogant look on her grandfather's face. She went back to the kitchen and scooped out the remaining braised food in the pot. She divided it into several boxes and gave them to them. Fortunately, she originally wanted to bring some food with her when she was free later and visit the neighbors with Hua Chenhuan. There was a lot of braised food in this big pot, and each box was barely enough for one person to get a see of it. The few of them took the food and flattered Su Yiyan on the spot. They also made an appointment with Old Master Chung to fish with him again tomorrow. Old Master Chung, who made an appointment with you? I don't want to see you for the next few days. The few of them smiled and made an appointment for the next day. Then, they hurriedly carried the box and ran home, afraid that someone would come and snatch it away. After watching them leave, Old Master Ching angrily scolded, "These old bastards!" "All right, Grandpa." Su Yiyan stepped forward to hold Old Master Cheng's hand and led him to the dining table. "Hurry up and eat. It won't taste good if it gets cold. Don't you want to eat shredded pork with garlic sauce? Here, this is it. Try it and see if it tastes good." Su Yiyan led Old Master Chung to the back of the main seat and sat on his right. At the same time, he turned to look at Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan understood. She walked over to her side and sat down, while Cheng Juanhao and Li Na sat on the other side. Old Master Cheng listened to his granddaughter's advice and reached for the shredded pork with garlic sauce with his chopsticks. He was stunned when he tasted it. The shredded pork that had been marinated in oil was soft and tender. When paired with the spicy fish sauce that was stir-fried with chili, onions, and garlic, it was salty, sweet, sour, and spicy. It was just one dish, but he could taste several flavors. Moreover, the flavors were not mixed at all. Instead, they were surprisingly harmonious. Is this really pork?" Su Yiyan laughed and said meaningfully, "Yes, we don't have any fish in the kitchen today. It can't be made with fish, right?" Chapter 6:18. Old Master Chung was instantly pleased. Even if there was no fish, his precious granddaughter could still make all kinds of delicious dishes that were not inferior to fish. In the end, he still won. Su Yiyan saw that Old Master Cheng's expression was slightly better. After eating the shredded pork with garlic sauce, he turned to the boiled beef and stopped coaxing him. When he turned around, he saw Qin Shiweru's pitiful eyes staring at the braised pork and shredded pork with garlic sauce. He couldn't help but laugh and push the spicy pork kidney, potato ribs, seaweed beef, and chestnut braised chicken in front of her. "Aunt, eat these first. The wolfberry black chicken soup is still simmering on the stove. Drink a bowl of soup after you finish eating. Don't eat the shredded pork with garlic sauce first. If you still want to eat it after the baby is born, I'll make more for you." Qin Shiweru's face turned red. She didn't dare to look at the other dishes and focused on eating her pregnancy meal. Su Yiyan was worried that Hua Chenhuan wasn't very used to this place. After that, she helped him put food in his bowl and wanted to pile it into a steeple. While Su Yiyan was cooking, Hua Chenhuan followed Qin Shiweru and Cheng Juanhao around the big courtyard. She was no longer as distant as before. However, in the face of Su Yiyan's special care, Hua Chenhuan accepted it without any psychological burden. At the same time, she returned the favor with a pile of food. Cheng Juanhao pursed his lips and looked at his wife sadly when he saw the two of them skillfully starting to abuse each other. Qin Shiweru's mouth twitched. She patted his head resignedly and put a prawn in his bowl. Cheng Juanhao was instantly revived and began to eat the prawn happily. Old Master Cheng, who was watching this scene from afar. How did he give birth to such a useless son? Old Master Cheng's mood, which had just improved, fell to the bottom again when he saw that there wasn't much braised food left on the table. Su Yiyan saw through his thoughts and smiled helplessly. "Grandfather, Chenhuan and I will be staying here for a month or two. Are you worried that there won't be enough food?" Old Master Cheng was stunned and fell into deep thought. Soon he smiled again. After dinner, Su Yiyan took Hua Chenhuan back to her room. Su Yiyen would stay with the Chung family for a period of time every year. So the Chung family had a special room for her to stay in. Even if she didn't come over, it was always empty. Su Yiyen pulled Hua Chenhuan into the house and looked around to make sure that nothing was missing. The furnishings were all in their original positions. This dressing table and bed were left to me by my grandmother. They're imitations of the bed and dressing table that girls used when they became nuns. Do they look good? Hua Chenhuan looked in the direction Su Yiyen pointed and saw the big bed and dressing table in the corner. Her eyes flashed and she said with a faint smile, "They look good." Su Yiyen pulled Hua Chenhuan to sit on the bed and reached out to touch the carved peony flower beside the bed. She smiled and said, "My grandmother wanted to give this bed to my mother as a dowry, but City was too far away from a city, so she could only leave it at home. Later, my mother gave birth to me, so this bed naturally belonged to me." "You've been sleeping in this room when you came here before?" "Yes." Su Yiyen nodded. "I lived here most of the time before I turned 7. At that time, my aunt was worried that I would be afraid of the dark at night, so she often came over to sleep with me and tell me stories." "What stories did she tell you?" Su Yiyen leaned against the bedpost and yawned. "Some fairy tales. Red Riding Hood, Big Bad Wolf, and so on." Chapter 619. Hua Chenhuan raised his eyebrows slightly and whispered into her ear with a faint smile. "Then did she say that Red Riding Hood was eaten by the Big Bad Wolf in the end?" "What?" Su Yiyen did not hear clearly and turned to look at him in confusion. "Nothing." Hua Chenhuan could see that she was tired. He reached out to hold her shoulders and let her lean on him. "Tired?" Su Yiyen took the opportunity to hug his waist. She buried her face in Hua Chenhuan's arms and said coquettishly, "A little. Sleep with me for a while?" "Okay." The couple, who had woken up early in the morning, hugged each other and took an afternoon nap. On the other side, old Master Ching asked his daughter-in-law for a picture of the lunch table. He opened a group called Elderly Fishing Group and sent it out. He chung, picture, 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 picture. After sending it out, he still did not vent his anger. He opened Old Man Li's private account and sent him a copy. Grandpa Li was looking at his son and grandson with disdain. They had really wasted their lives. They could not even show him filial piety by stuttering. Now they were coveting the food he had painstakingly obtained. They were really unfilial. The father and son of the Li family met their fathers, grandfathers, disdainful gaze and were embarrassed. Although old Master Li was usually strict with them, he had never despised them as much as he did today. The two of them subconsciously asked their wives for help, but they received the same confused gaze. So, what the hell is going on? After thinking for a while, the whole family turned their eyes to the box of braised meat in front of the old man. The last time old Master Li went to old Master Cheng's place to snatch some back, they were not at home. They were very lucky to have eaten it alone. This was the first time they had seen this thing. There were 10,000 question marks in their hearts, but they could not help but drool. The meat looked black, but it smelled really good. Just as they were in a stalemate, Grandpa Li's phone suddenly vibrated and a few messages popped up. Grandpa Li originally wanted to ignore them, but when he saw that the message was from his old friend, he thought about it and opened it to take a look. In the end, he was dazzled by a large number of unknown delicacies. Grandpa Li frowned, realizing that things were not that simple. Sure enough, the next second, she saw old Master Chung send over a picture. It was a plate of stir-fried shredded meat that looked pretty good. The vegetables on it were hua lulu. Chung, did you see that? My yin specially made this dish for me. It's called fish-flavored shredded pork. Proud. JPG Muzili. Shredded pork with garlic sauce? Fish. Didn't you fail to catch any fish? When old Master Chung saw this reply, his face darkened and he snorted coldly. Chung, this is made from pork. You've never seen the taste of fish made from pork, right? Muzili, impossible. How could pork taste like fish? Through the screen, old Master Chung could imagine Rao's surprised expression, and his mood instantly improved. Chung, that's because you're ignorant. Just because you haven't seen it before doesn't mean that Ing didn't tell you. This shredded meat is especially soft and tender. It tastes salty, sweet, sour, and spicy. That taste, K. Grandpa Li could not help but swallow his saliva when he heard Old Master Cheng's explicit description. However, he still could not believe it. In his opinion, this was just a plate of ordinary shredded meat. Muzili. Woof. How could a dish have so many flavors? It must taste terrible. Chapter 620. Old Master Cheng was unhappy when he saw that someone actually said that his precious granddaughter's dishes tasted bad. He Cheng. You're the one who's ignorant. My Yin-Yan's cooking is very good. How can her dishes taste bad? He Cheng. Some people are eating my Yin-Yan's food, yet they still have the nerve to say that her dishes aren't good. How shameless. He Cheng. Haha, forget it. There's nothing to do with people like you who think grapes are sour. I'm going to drink the soup that my Yin-Yan specially made for me. Goodbye. After Old Master Cheng sent a few messages dissing Grandpa Li from head to toe, he decisively blacklisted him. Thus, Grandpa Li was a little stunned by his continuous ridicule. When he reacted and wanted to retort, he sent a big red exclamation mark with a notification below. You have been blacklisted. Please add the other party as a friend again. Grandpa Li. Grandpa Li, who was blacklisted by his scheming old friend, felt a little wronged. Just as he was about to turn his grievances into appetite and finish the entire box of braised food, he looked up and realized that more than half of the box of braised food was gone. There was only a piece of braised meat, half a piece of duck gizzard, and a chicken claw left. He then looked at his son, daughter-in-law, grandson, and granddaughter-in-law around the table. They were all eating with relish. The anger in Grandpa Li's heart exploded as if hot oil had been poured on it. You unfilial sons. At that time, Su Yiyan still didn't know that she had become the fuse for a family war. She was hugging her man and sleeping soundly. At this time, her live stream recording also reached its peak. Her fish-flavored shredded pork and wife pancake in the live stream caused a heated discussion. At first, some viewers thought that these two delicacies were very rare. Different ingredients could be processed to produce the same taste. Moreover, the name of this wife pancake was quite interesting. Just like the viewers in the live stream, buying such an exquisite box of desserts to coax one's wife or girlfriend, or even to confess one's love. However, no one would have thought that because of the heated discussion among the audience, these two things would silently climb to the real-time hot topic list. There was an employee in Hai restaurant who liked to surf the internet. While he was free, he browsed the internet and saw the Yuxiang shredded pork hanging on the ceiling. It was not that he was sensitive, but the shredded pork with garlic sauce was one of the signature dishes of Hai restaurant, and other restaurants did not have it. When the staff saw their signature dish on the internet, they were immediately energized. They thought that a customer who had come to the restaurant before had praised their restaurant's dishes on the internet for being novel and delicious. In the end, when he clicked on it, he found that an internet celebrity had streamed the dish live. He even boasted shamelessly that the dish was made with pork and had nothing to do with fish. The staff's first reaction was that this internet celebrity was deliberately trying to make their restaurant popular. They hurriedly informed their restaurant's manager cum chef, Lu Jinjiang, about this. Lu Jingyun was also stunned when he saw this hot topic. After seeing the culprit who caused all this, his eyes turned cold. 10 minutes later, Lu Jinjiang used the Hai Restaurant's account to post a status update. Hai Restaurant Nandian V. These days, some young people like to bite off more than they can chew. They will do anything to become famous, and they will eventually suffer the consequences. Look back and see the shore. Step on solid ground. Chapter 621. She didn't mention Su Yiyan in her livestream, but it gave people a feeling that she was pointing at the mulberry tree and cursing the locust tree. She was using her identity as an elder to persuade the younger generation not to continue to make mistakes. Of course, this was only in the eyes of Su Yiyan's fans and some passers-by. As a well-known high-end restaurant, there was no lack of food-loving supporters under the account. As soon as they saw this post, they immediately thought of the fish-flavored shredded pork on the hot topic list. Some people, like the audience in Su Yiyan's livestream, had eaten fish-flavored shredded pork at the restaurant. In addition, Su Yiyen's audience was mostly patients who were not feeling well and needed medicinal cuisine to recuperate, as well as livestream viewers. There was not much overlap with these simple food lovers who only liked to spend money in physical stores. These supporters didn't know much about Su Yiyen and the restaurant. They had only heard of Su Yiyen's career as a streamer, so they regarded her as an ordinary internet celebrity. When they saw Lu Jinjing's post, they also preconceived that this unknown internet celebrity was maliciously trying to scam the restaurant. Immediately, they followed the ghostwriters that Lu Jinjing had hired and flooded into the #fish-flavored shredded pork topic, and began to mock and ridicule. Where did this wild chicken come from? Adding drama without permission? How dare she try to scam the restaurant? Don't you know there's a term called malicious backlash? Do you really think no one can control you? Plagiarism is not a problem. The most disgusting thing is that after plagiarizing, you turn around and bite the chef. What's the difference between this and picking up a bowl to eat meat, and putting down the bowl to curse your mother? Are all internet celebrities so arrogant nowadays? How dare she try to scam the restaurant? She's not afraid of meeting ghosts. The audience, who were happily discussing the various delicacies that had appeared in the host's live stream, and imagining the wife biscuits that the host would make in the next live stream, were stunned for a few seconds when they saw the ghostwriters and supporters who had suddenly flooded in, and were spouting all kinds of fragrant words. It took them a few seconds to realize that these people had run in to cause trouble. The supporters of the restaurant only listened to Lu Jinjing's one-sided statement, and determined that Su Yiyen was maliciously trying to scam the restaurant and distort the facts. However, the viewers in Su Yiyen's live streaming room actually saw her make the shredded pork with garlic sauce. In the end, they even used the simulator to personally taste the finished product. Even the viewer who asked in the live broadcast room at that time had to admit that regardless of the actual cooking method of the shredded pork with garlic sauce, the shredded pork with garlic sauce made by Su Yiyen was much better than the ones from other restaurants. Now that they saw these cursing words, they were all furious, especially when they saw the strange atmosphere in a certain restaurant. They were even angrier when they saw the two sentences that pointed at the mulberry and the locust tree. Originally, I didn't want to turn on the microphone if it didn't involve a certain restaurant. He had been there once and the service was extremely bad. The service staff looked at him with supercilious eyes. The food was expensive but not delicious. All the waiters and chefs in the restaurant almost had the words "bullying customers" printed on their foreheads. Such a trashy restaurant actually has supporters. It's really an eye-opener. The previous poster is going off topic. When he saw some idiots who thought they were righteous after being used by others, he only wanted to say, "If you don't have a brain, you should study more." Shredded pork with garlic sauce was a dish from ancient Earth that had long been lost. Whether it's the host or the restaurant, it's just a restoration. Someone is also shameless. They even flaunted that they were unique. What a joke. Chapter 622. That's right, that's right. The streamer made it very clear during the live broadcast that there was no fish in the fish-flavored shredded pork from ancient Earth. The amazing thing about this dough material was that it used pork to create a fishy aroma. Whether it was the ingredients or the cooking method, it was completely different from a certain restaurant. A certain streamer from a certain restaurant is trying to scam you. I thought that you saw that our streamer was very popular, and deliberately stepped on her to boost your restaurant's popularity. Shameless. Get lost. He restaurant supporters were also enraged by Su Yiyen's viewers. Just because you don't want to add fish doesn't mean you won't add fish? Using pork to make fish flavor? Either his brain had been eaten by monsters, or he had been brainwashed to the point of lying through his teeth. He did not even know how to be more professional when it came to lying. Moreover, of all the things she could cook, she had to cook shredded pork with garlic sauce. Who didn't know that shredded pork with garlic sauce was the signature dish of Hee Restaurant? Even so, you still think that I didn't use EE Restaurant to boost my popularity? Brainless fans are indeed brainless. Friend, didn't your teacher tell you not to jump to conclusions about the unknown? Otherwise, you'll be slapped in the face. Just because you haven't seen or heard of it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. There are tens of millions of people online during the live broadcast, and at least a few million people have opened simulators to taste it online. Do you really think that everyone is like you, being led away by a single sentence and still thinking that you're awesome? As for the signature dish of a certain restaurant, let me emphasize this one last time. Shredded pork with garlic sauce is a dish from ancient Earth. Do you have any evidence to prove that your restaurant is the dish from ancient Earth? If your family can do it, others can't do it. What's the difference between this and those companies who maliciously snatch trademarks? Is this dish your original creation? How dare the streamer plagiarize you? I think it's you who plagiarized the name, shredded pork with garlic sauce from ancient Earth. Using a chicken feather as a token of authority. Now that your lie has been exposed, you're afraid that you'll be exposed. So you strike first to gain the upper hand and nip the thread in the bud. Big restaurants are indeed different when they have a backer. The viewers in Su Yiyen's live broadcast room had experienced a few inexplicable incidents. Whether it was in terms of fighting power or organization, they had made a qualitative leap. They were no longer the pitiful people who could only recognize and pinch people's faces. In their opinion, although Su Yiyen was not a celebrity, it was a fact that they liked Su Yiyen's cooking. Previously, after the streamer had been blackmailed by someone, she hadn't broadcasted for a few days. Although she didn't say anything, she must be very sad. Especially at that time, many of the audience members had been led to change sides at the last minute. Part of the reason why she was sad was because the audience had looked on coldly, and no one had spoken up for her. Therefore, many people now understood that the streamer would be sad if no one supported her when she was defamed. Once the streamer was sad, there would be fewer people streaming, and their spiritual food would also be gone. Anyone who touched their spiritual food was their enemy, and they had to deal with them. Lu Jinjiang did not expect that even though he had hired the Internet Water Army to deliberately set the pace, this group of people still could not beat Su Yiyen's scattered audience. His face turned a little ugly for a moment, and he secretly thought about how to add fuel to the fire. However, before he could do anything, the live streaming platform had already stepped forward to counterattack him. Although Su Yiyen and Hua Chenhuan had gone far away, Yu Zian was still paying attention to the situation in Su Yiyen's live broadcast room. He was conscientious in doing all the explosion-proof work. As early as when Su Yiyen's live broadcast had mentioned the cooking method of fish-flavored shredded pork, Yu Zian had sensed that something was wrong. He had asked the public relations department to make emergency preparations in advance. Chapter 623. Sure enough, in less than an hour, the people from Hai restaurant ran over to cause trouble for young Master Rao. Yu Zian was annoyed by these guys. When young mistress was at home, they would come over from time to time to eat and drink. Now that young Master Rao and young Mistress Rao were out, their only source of entertainment was gone. These people were still rushing over to provoke them. Weren't they looking for trouble? Brothers, we're coming back. As usual, the one who contributes the most will be included in the week's assessment. The one who performs the best may get a portion of young Master Ru's premium medicinal cuisine. For your employee benefits, let's go. Yu Zian's heart was filled with ambition, but he didn't expect that just as he finished shouting his slogan, he was stopped by someone. Wait, boss, it seems that someone made a move first. Someone made a move first? Yu Zian was stunned. Zui Yanbai and Gu Xiaoyang are fighting for credit again? It doesn't seem to be them. It's the audience in young mistress's live broadcast room. Audience. Yu Zian was stunned and hurried to the screen. It turned out that one of the audience members who watched Su Yiyen's live broadcast was very interested in her fish-flavored shredded pork and wife biscuits. Coincidentally, he majored in ancient earth research, or archaeology. Out of curiosity, he sent the clip to his supervisor. The supervisor was also very surprised when he saw it. He flipped through the ancient books at hand and really found the sentence that Su Yiyen mentioned. There was no fish in the fish-flavored shredded pork. As for the second half of the sentence, it was already eaten by worms and could not be seen clearly. As a result, the supervisor was also interested in the host that the student was talking about. He asked the student to recommend Su Yiyen's live broadcast room to him. When Su Yiyen's next live broadcast, He also wanted to see what this legendary wife biscuit looked like. The audience member was very happy to be recognized by the supervisor, and immediately recommended Su Yiyen's live broadcast room to his supervisor. At the same time, he also recommended many of the medicinal cuisines and daily dishes that Su Yiyen had made before. After he finally calmed down from the excitement of from today onwards, I'll follow the same host as my supervisor. Just as he was about to post the incomplete script that his teacher had sent him online to show off, he saw the post from a restaurant's public account. He immediately became angry and directly fired at a certain restaurant. These days, some people like to take advantage of their seniority and stifle the newcomers. You created a fake dish in the name of restoring ancient earth dishes. And when you were exposed, you turned around and mocked others for being too young and inexperienced to be compared with you. You even slandered others for plagiarism. You made the entire industry your own words, and it was all for the sake of profit. Who doesn't know how to do both? In this world, it's not that old people become hooligans, it's that hooligans become old. He still didn't mention a certain restaurant in the entire article. Instead, he directly pointed out that some people were taking advantage of their seniority and deliberately suppressing the newcomers for their own benefit. Most importantly, he even sent out the waxy yellow scroll, stating that it was found by his teacher after searching through ancient books. Moreover, only the first half of the sentence was recorded, the second half was lost. Even so, it could still prove that Su Yiyen's method was the true one. Unfortunately, this audience member wasn't famous. After posting this post, he was directly labeled as a brainless fan. He was accused of maliciously involving ancient books to whitewash Su Yiyen, and was not worthy of studying ancient books at all. Chapter 624. As the saying goes, a fan is better than 10 haters. This was especially true for keyboard warriors and brainless fans who didn't care about the truth. No one believed him when he presented the truth, and he even received a lot of personal attacks. This infuriated the audience, and even the mentors in the audience were infuriated. It just so happened that this tutor was an old urchin who was especially protective of his students. He immediately activated his own interpersonal relationships and pulled people to support his student. Half an hour later, the Ancient Earth Cultural Research Institute forwarded the student's post. However, the person they thanked was Su Yiyen. Ancient Earth Cultural Research Institute v. Thank you Yinyan's Kitchen for carefully restoring ancient Earth's food culture. I hope you will continue to work hard in the future, and work together to add bricks and tiles to ancient culture research. This research institute was different from the one that had repeatedly supported Su Yiyen. It specialized in the study of ancient Earth's cultural classics and intangible heritage. It had many fans who were very curious and fond of ancient Earth's culture. As soon as the official thank you was sent out, many people were stunned. This was especially true for those who had previously vowed that Yeni Restaurant was a well-known restaurant, and couldn't possibly be worse than an internet celebrity food anchor. If the officials directly supported this food anchor, wasn't this indirectly proving that the anchor's fish-flavored shredded pork was the real ancient Earth's fish-flavored shredded pork, and that the restaurant was just pretending to be dog meat? Yu Zian watched this dramatic development, and breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he felt a little regretful. TSK, this is really a slap in the face for the officials. Our young madam is amazing. She has a wide range of fans, and many of them are talented people. There's no place for us to show our talents. Us. The employee who had shouted for him to wait looked at Yu Zian with a pale face and said with a complicated expression, "Boss, if the boss heard what you said, do you think he would put shoes on you?" Yu Zian's expression suddenly froze. He said angrily, "Put shoes on my ass. If it wasn't you or me, who would know? If my shoes were put on me, it would definitely be because of a traitor like you." The employee shrank his neck and said timidly, "The boss is my boss's boss. Even if I really did tip him off, I wouldn't be considered a traitor." Yu Zian. I have nothing to say. This slap in the face came so fast and so fiercely that Lu Jinjing didn't even have time to react before he was stepped on. Before Lu Jinjing could figure out how this streamer, who didn't even dare to show her face, had so much power to make these official accounts stand up for him again and again. His position as the manager of the southern branch had already been taken down. Lu Jinjing's and Hez's and felt regretful for the first time. Lu Jinjing's uses SSS. What are you doing? Lu Jinfeng had a bad feeling and subconsciously took a few steps back. However, he was quickly restrained by the group of people. He twisted his arms and pressed them against the table in the mausoleum, unable to move. TTs. Teat T. S's S. Chapter 625. Lu Jinjing trembled when he heard that. He looked at the man in surprise with fear in his eyes. After a few seconds, he reacted and struggled to beg for mercy. I was wrong. I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Please forgive me this time. I really know that I was wrong. Please forgive me. The man glanced at him contemptuously and said to the bodyguards in black, "Break his hand." In a few words, Lu Jinjing's fate had been decided. Lu Jinjing's eyes narrowed and he struggled even harder. If it was just a dismissal, he could still use his hands and his cooking skills to make money to support his family. Even if he couldn't stay in a city, it would be good to go back to the countryside and open a restaurant. But now the boss asked people to break his hand. It was clear that he was ready to completely cut off his way out. From now on, he was afraid that he would have no way to make a comeback. Lu Jinjing kept struggling and begging for mercy, but in the end, he couldn't soften the man's heart. A moment later, a high-pitched scream suddenly came from the restaurant. It scared the passers-by outside, and they hurriedly turned around and bypassed this inexplicably terrible place. Solved. Cripple his hand and drive him out. Liu respectfully stands beside Dou-Yi and says in a low voice. Dou-Yi narrowed his eyes and his expression was uncertain. After a long time he spat out 3 words, "Too stupid." Liu's heart trembled. Wasn't it too stupid? In their young master's restaurant, he dared to fool around and use his power for personal gain. If he didn't mess with him, who would he mess with? In fact, if it was only because of this incident, Lu Jinjing's end would not be as miserable as it was now. He was unlucky because he underestimated the power of this online streamer and provoked people who shouldn't be provoked. Not only did he fail, but his subordinates also happened to find out that he was related to Lu Dachui, the manager of the fragrance of Manlu, who had used despicable means to maliciously report the carnival hall. Because of this relationship, Lu Jinjing had a grudge with this streamer. When he saw the comments on the internet, he was impulsive and wanted to use the restaurant's influence to solve his personal grievances, which caused the reputation of Hei restaurant to be damaged. And that was not the most fatal thing. The main reason why he ended up in such a miserable state was that he secretly gave some of his best dishes to his nephew, Lu Dachui, so that he could open the Manlu incense restaurant. Although that restaurant was nothing compared to the Hei restaurant, the restaurant had its own rules. Once the chefs of Hei restaurant were hired, their culinary skills could not be spread outside unless they resigned. Putting aside what happened after he left his post, when he was still in office, it was clearly forbidden to pass on his skills to him. Lu Jinjing had already violated a big taboo when he was aware of it. Now that he was involved in the private use of public resources, he was really digging his own grave. Dou-Yi hates useless people, but he hates people who bring him trouble. Lu Jinjing is one of them. His end can be imagined. Dou-Yi wouldn't spend too much effort on a useless person who had already been abandoned. After confirming that his subordinates had solved the problem, Dou-Yi shifted his attention to the online streamer who had damaged their restaurant's reputation. The appearance of the Ancient Earth Culture Research Institute made many people begin to talk about the origin of Su Yiyan. From the institute and the testing department personally certified the ancient earth medicinal herbs to the source of the food culture this time. Although Su Yiyan had repeatedly declared that she was just an ordinary person in the live broadcast, there were still many people who expressed extreme curiosity about her origin. Chapter 626. Some people even thought that she might have come from a scholarly family, a hidden clan that had been passed down for thousands of years. Otherwise, how could her family have so many books that recorded ancient Earth? The reason why she didn't show up was that she wanted to keep a low profile. While doing what she liked, she wanted to protect her family from being disturbed. Many people knew this, but because of their own curiosity, they wanted to dig out her identity. For this reason, they didn't hesitate to use some outrageous means. Of course, these means didn't really have any effect. They were strangled in the cradle by Zhu Yanbai and others. Dou-yi looked at the comments about Su Yiyan on the internet, as well as the shares of the lucky audience who had been to the restaurant or the live broadcast room. His eyes flashed, and he couldn't help but be a little interested in this mysterious woman. In particular, this woman had a conflict with Wen Jingping before, and she had the upper hand. And if one looked carefully, they would find that the beginning of Wen Jingping's troubles seemed to be this woman. Was this woman more capable than Wen Jingping? Was her medicinal diet more effective than Wen Jingping's food? Dou-yi was thinking about whether Su Yiyan or Wen Jingping was more valuable. When one of the parties involved appeared at the door, Wen Jingping had just returned from outside when she heard about the incident at Hai Restaurant. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, Wen Jingping's face turned pale. She had suspected that this food anchor who suddenly appeared and didn't show her face was also a transmigrator like her. Now, she saw her talking about shredded pork with garlic sauce, and saw the research institute stand up for her. Wen Jingping was more and more certain that this woman was also a transmigrator like her. This knowledge made Wen Jingping panic instantly. How could there be two transmigrators in this world? Could it be that she had been thinking too much all this time? The reason why God let her transmigrate to this place wasn't to let her change her destiny? No, it couldn't be like this. It definitely couldn't be like this. If her transmigration was really of no use to him, why would he spend so much effort to let her live another life? Why would he? Wen Jingping's hands, which were hanging by her side, subconsciously tightened. Her sharp fingernails almost pierced her palms to the point of bleeding. So what if she was also a transmigrator? As long as he killed her, Wen Jingping's face turns ferocious. She doesn't want to go upstairs. She bumps into Dou-yi and Liu talking about the internet. The alarm bells in Wen Jingping's heart rang loudly, and the uneasiness in her heart suddenly rose to the peak. Wen Jingping is very clear why Dou-yi keeps her by his side. If that woman... When Dou-yi saw Wen Jingping, his eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. But he quickly calmed down. He raised his hand and beckoned her to come to his side. Wen Jingping pursed her lips and walked up to him, taking the initiative to hold his hand. Why are you back so early today? Teacher Xia has something to do today, so she asked me to come back first. Dou-yi didn't care about what happened to Teacher Xia and left early. Instead, he reminded Wen Jingping in a low voice. Teacher Xia is the best teacher in Hai. You should learn from her so that you won't have to suffer so much when you start working. Wen Jingping's face slightly changed. She cleverly said, I know. I will work hard to learn. Then she seemed to think of something and said, I heard from the housekeeper that you are somewhat unhappy today. Chapter 627. A cold glint flashed in Dou Tiany's eyes, but he said, well, something happened at one of our restaurant branches, but it has been resolved. I just took a look, and it seems to be related to a live streamer on Chu. Dou Tiany glanced at her and said calmly, it was a branch manager who didn't handle it well and was caught. Wen Jingping lowered her head and whispered, I think, it's not that simple. It's not that simple? Dou Tiany looked at her with great interest. You mean this might not be just a problem with my subordinates? Yes. Wen Jingping showed a troubled and tangled expression. She hesitated for a moment before saying, in fact, I used to be a live streamer on Chu for a while to save money for tuition and living expenses. Before this live streamer appeared, I was still a newbie live streamer promoted by the gourmet section of this live streaming platform. Oh. Dou Tiany raised his eyebrows. Then why didn't you continue to live stream later? Instead, you went to the entertainment industry? Wen Jingping pursed her lips and was a little sad. When she first joined the website, I happened to accept a variety show and stopped broadcasting for a while. When I had time to go online, I received a reminder from some of my live stream viewers, saying that someone was deliberately imitating my live stream and copying some of the dishes I had streamed in my live stream room. I was very angry at the time, so I warned her online. I didn't expect. What? I didn't expect this person to have such a strong background. She turned black and white and said that I deliberately scammed her to make her popular. She even found people from the Research Institute to support her. At that time, I was just an ordinary live streamer on the platform. How could I compete with a behemoth like the Research Institute? Wen Jingping's eyes immediately turned red when she said this. She looked like a weak and pitiful person who was bullied by the strong. It didn't take long for the platform to terminate my contract. They also withheld all the income one earned from live streams, saying that I violated the company's rules and tarnished the reputation of the platform. They asked me to pay compensation. Not only will I not be able to get the money that originally belonged to me, but I will also have to pay a large sum of money to the platform. Dou Tianyi didn't say anything. Wen Jingping gritted her teeth and continued. Later, I realized that something was wrong. I wanted to look for the fans who reminded me of the plagiarism, but I found. Dou Tianyi looked at her with interest. What did you find? I discovered that those people seemed to have evaporated into thin air. Dou Tianyi saw through her thoughts at a glance. He smiled faintly and said, "Are you suspecting that those people approached you with a purpose and deliberately provoked the conflict between you and her, so that you would find trouble with her?" Wen Jingping was silent for a while, and then said in a hoarse voice, "I just feel that what happened that time is a bit similar to what you encountered this time." Wen Jingping was vague, but she vaguely hinted that Dou Tianyi's matter was very likely to be a good show directed and acted by someone. Whether it was her or Dou Tianyi's store manager, they had all been fooled. Dou Tianyi's face darkened slightly, and he said coldly, "I understand. I will get someone to investigate it clearly." Wen Jingping thought that he believed her words, and was ready to find trouble with the little streamer. A happy smile flashed across her eyes. "Then you continue to talk with Minister Li. I will go and cook first." "Go." Dou Tianyi let go of Wen Jingping's hand and watched her leave. As soon as she left, Dou Tianyi's face darkened. "Do you believe her words?" Li Yu was stunned. She subconsciously glanced at Dou Tianyi and said tactfully, "The people at the Research Institute are not stupid. They would personally stand up for a woman's performance." Chapter 628. If Li Yu could see it, how could Dou Tianyi not see it? The more Wen Jingping smeared Su Yiyan's name in front of him, the more Dou Tianyi was interested in this little streamer. Medicinal cuisine? Dou Tianyi chewed on the word and pondered for a long time. Suddenly he said, "Get someone to bring a portion of this streamer's so-called medicinal cuisine over." Li Yu froze for a moment and said awkwardly, "The medicinal cuisine in her restaurant is 1 serving per person. It can't be taken out." Dou Tianyi turned to look at him when he heard that. Li Yu's heart trembled and his lips trembled. He couldn't say a word. After a long time, Dou Tianyi spoke again. "If the restaurant can't take it out, can't you think of another way?" "Another way? You mean, the lucky draw in her live broadcast room?" Dou Tianyi didn't say anything. Li Yu knew that this was indeed a way, but this streamer's live broadcast room had tens of millions of viewers. It was very difficult to be favored by the goddess of luck and become 1 in 10 million. The only way was to try to get the lucky viewers to transfer the food to them. However, this would probably take a lot of effort and money. As if he could read Li Yu's mind, Dou Tianyi glanced at him and added, "No matter the cost." With this guarantee, Li Yu breathed a sigh of relief and promised, "I understand. I'll get someone to keep an eye on this live broadcast room. When she broadcasts next time, we'll definitely bring it back." Okay. Dou Tianyi's face was expressionless. His eyes were deep, and no one could see through his true thoughts. He didn't care what kind of grudge this woman had with Wen Jingping, but before that, he had to figure out if this woman's medicinal cuisine was really as magical as the people on the internet said. Su Yiyan slept for a very long time. When she woke up, the sky was almost dark. She had slept through a meaningless dispute. Huo Chenhuan had woken up a long time ago, but seeing that she was sleeping soundly, he didn't move. He just watched her sleeping face from the side, until she woke up. When Su Yiyan woke up, she looked at the sky outside as if she had just woken up from a dream. She was a little surprised. Why is the sky already dark? What time is it? It'll be dinner soon. Su Yiyan was completely awakened by his words. Have you had dinner? Then didn't I? Sleep for 3 to 4 hours? You only found out now? Hua Chenhuan reached out and pinched her nose. Someone is sleeping like a little pig. My hand is numb from the pillow. Su Yiyan blushed and mumbled embarrassedly. Why didn't you call me? I can't bear to see you sleeping so soundly. How's your hand? I'll rub it for you. Su Yiyan took Hua Chenhuan's battered hand and massaged it while scolding. Really, you don't even know how to move when I'm asleep. Aren't you afraid that your hand will be crippled after being my pillow for so long? In the end, she couldn't help but glare at Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan wasn't angry. He was in a good mood and joked with her. Even if my hand is crippled, I still have you, right? Su Yiyan's injured hand suddenly paused, and the blush on her face quickly spread from her cheeks to her neck. Can't you be serious? I'm not serious. Hua Chenhuan was stunned for a few seconds before he realized the meaning of Su Yiyan's words. The smile in his eyes became more obvious. What are you thinking about? I mean, you can cure my leg. Even if my hand is crippled, you can also cure it. Literally. Your reaction is so big. Could it be that you thought of something strange? Chapter 629. Su Yiyan looked into Hua Chenhuan's eyes and finally got angry out of humiliation. She flung his hand away, pushed him forward, and got off the bed first. Hua Chenhuan knew when to stop and didn't tease her anymore. He got up and straightened his clothes before going back to the front yard with her. Qin Shuiru saw the two of them come out, and looked at them a few times. She said with a smile that wasn't a smile, "You're up?" Su Yiyan avoided her probing eyes and quickly changed the topic. Where's Grandpa and Uncle? Your uncle went out to buy something. As for Grandpa, he took Dundun out for a walk a while ago. They should be back soon. Chow 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 chow. Just as the two of them mentioned Old Master Chung, a familiar barking sound came from outside. They looked in the direction of the sound, and saw Dundun running in with his short legs. Behind him was Old Master Chung, who was leisurely driving the dog with the leash. Go 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 quickly. TSK, this is the bad thing about having short legs. You can't run fast. Su Yiyan and the others. Dundun with short legs. It's bad enough that you ran away, but you're saying that your legs are short. You're going too far. The man and the dog finally made it into the house after being dragged along. Dundun spread his legs and fell forward, becoming a dog biscuit on the ground. Old Master Ching couldn't help but scold it again. You're getting lazier and lazier. Previously you were very active when I took you out to play. You ran all over the place and I couldn't stop you. Today, you just went out for a walk and you can't run anymore. I even had to drag you back. Really? Old Master Chung squatted beside Dundun and looked at him carefully. He clicked his tongue and said, I think you've gotten fat because of the good food these few months. Look at your body. You've gotten fatter than last time. I couldn't even carry you when I wanted to. You're a dog, so why are you so fat? You're not a pig. You must lose weight. Aunt Fong, don't give him meat tonight. Just prepare some vegetables. Woof. Woof woof woof. It was fine that he was despised for having short legs, but now he was personally attacking his body and race. The worst thing was that his dinner was being deducted. He couldn't live like this. Old Master Ching seemed to have heard Richard's complaint. He looked at Richard meaningfully and said seriously, If you want to eat meat, you can go out with me every morning and night. Run more often, and you should be able to lose weight. Woof. Dundun barked and wanted to protest, but Su Yiyan had already squatted beside it and reached out to pinch the back of its neck. As he touched her, he advised, Be good. Grandpa took you out for a walk because he loves you. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you don't want to eat, then go out for a walk. Old Masters love love love. Old Zats olds. S's to Dundun of as a dog he, S. S to. Dundun, who was brought to this place and forced to lose weight, felt hopeless. He hugged himself tightly and missed his wife, who was thousands of kilometers away. The few of them played with the dog for a while. Cheng Juanhao came back with his shopping. Qin Shueru saw that Su Yiyan had slept for a long time in the afternoon. She guessed that she must be tired after cooking so many dishes in the afternoon. Qin Shueru didn't let her into the kitchen at night. She only asked Aunt Fong to heat up the leftover food and add some braised food that was added after lunch. Chapter 630. After the family had dinner, Qin Shueru suddenly said, "You young people shouldn't stay at home all the time. There's a lantern festival at the market tonight. Yan Yan, bring Chen Huan over to take a look and broaden his horizons." Lantern festival? Hua Chen Huan looked curious. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up. "Yes, there's a lantern festival today. It's a very lively festival here. Many single boys and girls will participate. If you meet a boy or girl you like at the festival, you will hand over the lantern in your hand. If the other party has a good impression of you, they will accept your lantern." Hua Chenhuan's face darkened. What lantern festival? It was clearly a large-scale blind date. Su Yiyan turned her head and saw his dark face. She was still a little confused. Then, she thought of what she had just said and quickly reacted. Actually, it's not just single men and women. Many couples will participate as well. There are many activities at the festival. We can go to the moat to release river lanterns and make wishes. We can also go to the hillside to watch fireworks. It's very fun. Su Yiyan looked at Hua Chenhuan eagerly. It was as if she was saying, "Go, go, I want to go." Hua Chenhuan couldn't resist her pleading and finally nodded. Qin Shueru watched with great interest. She smiled and said, "Don't listen to Yan Yan's nonsense. Although there are many young people at the Lantern Festival, there are also many old people and children. Yan Yan loved to pester the old man to take her out to play when she was young. When it comes to the Lantern Festival, she will have fun. There are many people at the Lantern Festival. Chenhuan, you have to hold Yan Yan well. Don't lose her." Su Yiyan was provoked. She shouted angrily, "Aunt, I'm not a child anymore." Qin Shueru couldn't help but laugh. She said perfunctorily, "Yes, yes, yes. You're not a child anymore." Hua Chenhuan also joined in. He held Su Yiyan's hand tightly and said seriously, "Don't worry. I'll hold her well. I won't lose her." "All right, go, go," Qin Shueru said as she pushed the two young men out of the door. The Lantern Festival was not far from the Chung family's house, and it was only a 10-minute walk. The two of them walked side by side, and they could see the rows of beautiful lights from afar. "When did you come here often with your grandfather?" "Not often, just once or twice. At the Lantern Festival, fireworks would be set off at 8 or 9 o'clock. I liked watching fireworks. Every time I heard the commotion, I would make a fuss about coming over to play. There are many people at the Lantern Festival, so my grandfather was naturally worried about me running around alone. He could only reluctantly bring me here himself." Su Yiyan missed that period of time and felt a little regretful. Later on, Grandpa got older and older. Uncle and the others were worried that there would be too many people at the Lantern Festival. It would be too crowded and easy for people to bump into each other. It was really inconvenient for the two of us, so they didn't let us go. Hua Chenhuan's heart softened. She promised in a low voice, "I'll accompany you in the future." "Of course you have to accompany me. Otherwise, do you want me to come alone?" Hua Chenhuan immediately understood the meaning behind her words. She couldn't help but tighten her grip on Su Yiyan's hand. It was impossible for her to come to such a large-scale lantern festival alone. It was impossible in this lifetime. The Lantern Festival was surrounded by lanterns and colored banners. There were also people selling colored lanterns everywhere. Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan bought 2 animal-shaped colored lanterns. One was a rabbit, and the other was a tiger. It seemed like it was Hua Chenhuan's first time coming into contact with such a cute toy. She felt awkward while holding it in her hand. Chapter 631. Su Yiyan could tell at a glance, but she didn't expose him. She was having a hard time holding back her laughter. Just as Su Yiyan said, there were many young people at the Lantern Festival. There were a few girls or boys who were together, and there were also couples who came together. There were men and women of all ages, but there were relatively more single men and women. For this reason, many stalls set up couples to compete for prizes. It gave some young people who had a crush on each other, but didn't know how to say it out loud, an excuse to form a temporary team. Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan walked forward with the lanterns in their hands. Then they heard a commotion not far away. They took a closer look. It turned out that a stall was having an event. It wasn't a special event. It was just shooting balloons. There were 10 bullets. The more balloons they hit, the more generous the prize. Most of the prizes were different types of lanterns. The highest prize was a very beautiful lotus lantern. It was very big, and there were silver patterns on the petals. If it could be lit up and placed in the river, it would reflect the ripples of the water. It would be very beautiful. When Su Yiyan saw the lotus lantern, she couldn't take her eyes off it. Hua Chenhuan's eyes flashed, and she took the initiative to pull her over. You. Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment. She staggered forward with Hua Chenhuan. When the stall owner saw the two of them, his eyes lit up. He took the initiative to ask, "Do the two of you want to try?" Hua Chenhuan glanced at him and went straight to the point. "The first prize is that lotus lantern?" "Yes, but you have to hit all 10 of them." Hua Chenhuan nodded and confirmed the prize. She immediately spent money to buy 2 sets of bullets. Su Yiyan finally reacted. She pulled Hua Chenhuan's clothes and asked in a low voice, "What are you doing? This game is very deceptive." Hua Chenhuan looked at her and smiled faintly. "You like that lotus lantern?" "What do I like? Are you going to find it for me?" "As long as you want it, I will find it for you." It was undeniable that Su Yiyan was struck by Rao's sugar-coated bullet, and was a little stunned. By the time she realized what was going on, Hua Chenhuan had already started shooting balloons. This kind of balloon shooting activity seemed simple, but in fact, it was very difficult for people who had not touched the wooden warehouse to find the right direction at the beginning. Many of the balloons on the board were deliberately blown up, which imperceptibly created a certain level of difficulty for the customers. Several people had tried before, and there were many who could hit the target, but there was no cherry blossom who could hit all 10 shots. Hua Chenhuan and Zhang Xian were good-looking. As soon as they came over, they attracted a lot of attention. However, at this time many people were only attracted by their appearance. They believed that this was another fat sheep with a lot of money trying to please his girlfriend. However, they were soon slapped in the face. Hua Chenhuan's posture was very proper. Even though she was holding a toy in her hand, she still gave off an imposing aura. Usually, in this kind of situation, they were either trying to act cool and had no strength, or they had really played it before. Hua Chenhuan was obviously the latter. His shooting speed was very fast, and he did not need to aim at all. In the time that everyone was stunned, he had already shot 5 or 6 shots, and all of them hit. The people around them seemed to have woken up from a dream. Even the stall owner was surprised. However, it was not that no one had started well before. It was normal to miss 1 or 2 shots towards the end. The stall owner quickly adjusted his facial expression. Like everyone else, he nervously looked at Hua Chenhuan, waiting for his last few shots. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.